Madre John, Ned, and Juanito, and my little doorway in Akumal, Mexico. Humble pueblo sandwiched between opulent Playa del Carmen and on the other side, opulent Tulum. I've, for the last month, been involved in what I think is objectively the health crisis of my life. Solid month of renal failure and 7 trips to the emergency rooms. Been tough and a lot of pain. And they sent me out from the emergency room a week ago with no pain meds. 2 prescriptions for things to shrink the prostate, which may be the problem. Probably is the problem. And may well be cancerous. I have a history of prostate cancer. So I went out and got aspirin, and that didn't help. And then combined it with ibuprofen the next day, and that didn't help. And I'm out of money, and I have been charging at the one Tequilaville grocery store. They let me run a tab all month against my check at the end of the month. And you can get a good-sized bottle of tequila, that size bottle right over there, for 80 pesos. It's not bad. So I'm not much of a drinker, but I went through 2 of those bottles in 2 days. The only way I could keep the pain at bay at all. So serious pain. Does look like I had blood in my stool, so I've got some kind of internal bleeding going on. So I went through a lot of duress. Who some days have been so weak, I just count the number of times I stood up out of this chair in the course of a day. I got myself to Playa del Carmen for my follow-up appointment with outpatient urology, and nobody ever made the appointment. So I got to run around all day, waiting this line, waiting that line. I was a good sport. I'm pretty good at staying in a good mood. And there were interesting people, and one of the security guards was a real gem and really helped me a lot. And at the very end of a very long day, during which that guard got me a little meeting with the one urology guy, and he said, yeah, make sure they keep you at the ER. You're too sick to go home. So when at 5 o'clock, the very nice doctor in the ER, who had a little bit of English, sent me home. He said, no, you're not. He heard the whole thing about blood in the stools and the pain. He says, well, try not to use tequila. He did write a prescription for a good, strong pain med, but I don't have money to fill it. So when at the end of that long day, I did not have money left to get home because I had optimistically spent my last 100 pesos on a decent lunch. I thought maybe my last good lunch for a while. So 5 o'clock, I had no way to get home. Needed a 50 peso taxi to the colectivo bus, and then the half-hour colectivo bus ride is another 50 pesos. I didn't have it. And I didn't just put my game face on. I said, here's the deal. The one option as to who could have helped me was Marcos, my landlord, is a half an hour away in Akumal, and we're good friends, and he makes quite a point out of he wants us to be best friends. Yeah, but he had church last night. He had to go to church. I won't be out of church till 9. So there went that option. I knew privately that I was likely still going to be homeless at 9 o'clock at night, and maybe he could still come, but I wasn't going to ask for that. So I said, here's the deal, guys. My little group of 5 guys that I'm corresponding with, all Marcos and 4 in the U.S. I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk to that colectivo bus stop, and when I get there, I'll come up with some way to hustle 15 more pesos. That's all I'm short. And Google Maps says it's a 37-minute walk. The way I'm walking, figure 90 minutes. Well, it was 2.5 hours. It was 2.5 hours. Yeah, it was 2.5 hours. So I just posted, and it was the wrong shopping mall. I said McDonald's, Chedraui, That's where I get my colectivo bus. Well, it was another mall that was anchored by the big Chedraui store and had McDonald's. And it was going to be another 2.5 hours to the right one. So I posted that to folks and said, gee, it's going on 9 o'clock. Maybe Marcos would come help me. No. And he's so busy. He tends to be so busy that unless something's addressed directly to him, he won't usually look at it, even if his name is on the list. But I didn't send it directly to him because I didn't want to ask. But he volunteered. He said, I'll come. He and his lovely wife, Ruby, and their daughter, Brisa, 10-year-old. And they were all in a good mood. None of them was grumpy at all about coming out at 11 o'clock at night to drag their sorry gringo friend back to Akumal. So I was in such a good mood in the car. I was way, way, way too chatty because they're mostly introverts, and I do tend to irritate introverts. So I want to share a story, but this is running too long. I'll make another video and share one of the stories I shared with them, which is pretty classically Mexican story. Okay.